step number 33, we're going to finish building our radio box. Go ahead and take your lid, and let's start with the Tamiya plug holder. So we're going to turn it off, and we're going to look for this little hole right here, which is above the large slot where our Tamiya plug is going to hang out. And there's a little riser here that you want to look for. Let's take this little piece right here, which is a little swing lock, and we are going to install that right over the post. You'll stick it right in there. You can see how it swivels around. And then we're going to take our self-tapping screw that's in the directions and put that in to hold it on. Tighten it down, and when you're done, you'll see that that is just a little holder. We'll get the Tamiya plug put in there in just a little bit. Now let's take one of our two rubber plugs, and you'll notice that they have a flat spot on them, and that flat spot lines up with the two flat spots here. So we're going to go ahead and just press those little puppies down in. There's one. I like to lick them. For some reason it just seems to make them want to go in easier. And there's the second one. Now let's put on the Tamiya plug cover, which is this unit right here. There's a little nub on here. I'm going to go ahead and lick that, and that nub is going to stick through this hole right here. They can be a pain to get in. You're just going to have to work it and just press on the top, and then eventually it'll slide in, and you can see underneath here, make sure that it's fully seated in and not folded over. We're going to go ahead and do the same to the radio access plug. Again, we're going to lick it, stick it down into the hole here, press on it, work it in, then double check from the bottom, make sure that it is fully seated. We're getting close here. You can push that down in, you'll see that it seals up that hole, and then the Tamiya plug just sits right over the top. Okie doke. Now let's install our Tamiya plug into the hole. The battery box is going to go on, if you're looking at the servo, with the access hole towards the front. You can see that there's a little hole that lines up with the nub there that's going to hold it on. Let's go ahead and open the lid, and we are going to install the Tamiya plug into the slot here. It only goes in one way, so if it's not going in, turn it around. And then we're going to put that little latch, slide it over, and it holds the Tamiya plug into place. Let me move the plug here so you can see. And it just clips in and holds it on. To put the lid on, there's two little notches on the back, and those two little notches are going to line up with the areas on the lid. Just go ahead and just hook them right on. Next thing you're going to do is to come around and check and make sure that you're not pinching any of your wires, and make sure that they're all in place, so when you shut the lid it fully seats down and you're not pinching any of your wires. We got a little wire pinch going on there, so I'm going to adjust that. Now the wire's not pinching, and we're going to grab one of the smaller clips, put it through the hole, and we're done. At this point, I'm going to suggest that you turn on your radio, and then you turn on your electronics package with the switch on the bottom, and go ahead and check and make sure that your throttle and your brake servo and everything is working properly, and then that way if it's not, you can go ahead and take care of the problem. So we're just about done with the battery box. We have one more little thing to do in step number 34, and then we're going to move on. So let's go ahead and get our parts out for step number 34, and we'll get rolling. Step number 34, we're going to build our steering link. It's pretty straightforward, and we're going to use the two ball ends as well as a small turnbuckle and a ball. It's all listed, and the part numbers are right in the manual. And we're going to start off by putting the turnbuckle in and getting it threaded into one of the two sides. You can also at this point use the handy dandy tool if you want, and it has a spot that fits these in so that you can turn them if your fingers can't deal with it. We're going to set this to 6 millimeters, and inside your manual there's a 1-to-1, so you don't need to do anything except for hold it up once it's built and adjust the length to the proper 6 millimeters. We'll get both these ends on here real quick. And if you take a look, the ends when you're done are going to be opposing. They're going to be like so. However, for measuring, I like to turn them both in the same direction, and then that way we can hold them up to our picture and make sure that we have adjusted to the right length, and then you can turn one opposing. And you're going to want to make sure that they are adjusted fairly equally on both sides. Alright, we're getting closer. And it is important that you do get these really close to where they need to be. And I think we got it. So we're going to go ahead and turn these. Okay, at this point we're going to go ahead and install the ball into one of the ball ends, just like so. Now we're going to take the other end and install it onto the radio. If you have a hard time pushing those on, give it another try. There we go. That's how it should look when you're done. We've now completed step number 34, and we're going to move on to another easy step, step number 35, which is opening the chassis bag. So let's go ahead and get the chassis out, and we're going to move on to step number 36.